Hello. Tonight, what we're going to need is just something to sit on, a chair or a bolster or pillows, and perhaps another smaller pillow for underneath your head and underneath your pelvis in the class. So we are going to begin by, I'm going to begin by sitting on the floor, but you can sit at the edge of your chair, or you can do, I think, all of this standing up as well. So you guys choose what you prefer. I'm going to cross my legs, but I'm going to cross them the opposite of how I would habitually cross my legs. So just getting comfy. If you are sitting, you're just finding those sit bones, perhaps finding the pelvis or just getting in tune with your pelvis. So if you're sitting on a bolster or pillow, you can even do a little tucking and tilting of the pelvis just to get a sense of where it is and how to bring it more into this neutral position. So sometimes we like to line the pubic bone up with the pelvis, or the hip bone, sorry. So just finding that neutral place, but most of all, it's important that you find a place that is comfortable, that you feel like you're sitting on top of your sit bones. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Just getting a sense of our ribs over the pelvis. So we're just stacking the ribs over the pelvis. Let your arms relax and your face relax, your jaw. Perhaps you may want to tuck the chin a little tiny bit to elongate the neck and the back. I'm just going to tune in to how you're feeling, what's going on in the body. It's bringing an inner awareness of how you're doing, how your body feels. Is there any places that you notice you're holding any tension? And just try to soften those areas, especially around the abdomen and around the forehead, jaw, and the shoulders. And just notice how your breath is this evening. It's not wondering anything about the pose, just being in the present moment. You're checking in with yourself. How are you doing? And we'll begin with a little neck roll, so dropping the chin down towards the chest. Take a breath here. And let the neck just fall and relax. Maybe a deep breath through the nose and out through the nose. Not rounding in the spine, just letting the neck relax. Letting the jaw relax and the tongue. We'll bring the chin up towards one shoulder and then down and towards the other. Move with your breath. And then we'll bring the head all our way around. So just reaching the chin up towards the ceiling. And we'll just stop at the very bottom and let the head hang again. And then go in the other direction. Nice and gentle. And come to center. We'll just look over the left and perhaps just tuck the chin a little. And then raise the chin, not too much. Come down, look over the other shoulder. Bring the chin down a little bit. And then raise the chin up very gentle, just to where it's comfortable. And then come forward. Take a breath. And then on your next exhale, you're going to go into a twist. So inhale. I like to take my hands on my ribs, and we're doing that thoracic twist here. Pelvis stays where it's at. And then you can take the arms with you and just place them like on your leg, but you're not using your hands to twist you, okay? And if you want, you can even raise that arm and protract, so reach it out. So protracting that shoulder blade forward. And if you want, you can even open the other arm out to the side. So the back arm, you're just opening it as well. So you're retracting and then protracting. So almost making the twist, taking the twist a little bit more with your arms. So protracting, reaching, and protracting the shoulder blade to my right shoulder blade, and retracting the left, or pulling the left shoulder blade in. And we'll come around again. Come to center, take a breath. And then exhale, twist to the other side. Just take a breath like this. So all your abdominal muscles here are holding here, your obliques are holding here. Don't hold your breath anywhere though, or don't hold your breath and don't tense anywhere, I should say. And now if you want, you can again reach the front arm. So you're just reaching the arm. You can feel the shoulder blade coming away, so really reaching, and then the back arm, you can open up, and then that shoulder blade is coming in towards the spine. So it's added another little twist, or further twist. And come back. Take a breath. Nice, calm, relaxing class tonight. We're not even getting off the floor tonight. So left hand down by your side, and I'm going to come into a nice side stretch here. So I like to externally rotate my arm, palm facing up towards the ceiling, and come over. So again, I'm just keeping the pelvis where it is. I'm using my other hand as support to almost push out of the floor that way, to just keep my pelvis level, and reaching through the side body. So really just reaching from the ribs to the hip. So really this part down here. And breathe, take an inhale and exhale. Come down to the other side. Take a breath. Make sure your neck is nice and relaxed. You can look down towards the floor if you want, if that's more comfortable. And come up. You can switch your legs if you want, or you can have the legs completely different, like wide. Coming into that other side stretch now. So again, I'm externally rotating this arm, palm face up, coming over to the side. And then on your next exhale, you're just going to bring a little twist into that. So inhale and then exhale, twisting again at the thoracic spine. Pelvis stays where it is. Take a breath. And exhale, untwist first, and then come up. Take a breath. Exhale the other side. Take a breath. And exhale, twist. Take a breath. And untwist. And come up to neutral. I'm going to open my legs now wide. So I'm still sitting on this bolster. And just coming into a nice shoulder roll. So we'll just bring the shoulders up a couple times, go in one direction, and then a couple times in the other direction. And now this time we're going to come into a roll again, but really going to focus the movement in the shoulder blades. So we're gonna lift the shoulder blades up. So bring the shoulder blades up towards your ears and then squeeze the shoulder blades together and then bring them down. So now bring them wide, bring the shoulder blades wide now and come up and bring the shoulder blades together and down. Wide and up, squeeze the shoulder blades. So get the movement happening with the shoulder blades. So the shoulder blades are initiating the movement more so than the shoulders, okay? So the other way, we're just going to squeeze, the arms are down and relax, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and now lift the shoulder blades up towards your ears. And now widen the shoulder blades apart and come down. So again, squeeze the shoulder blades together, come up, spread or protract the shoulder blades apart, and then come down. We're gonna go in the other direction. Protract the shoulders, open the shoulders, and then bring them up towards the ears. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and then bring them down. Do another. Shoulder blades wide and up, and then squeeze the shoulder blades and move the shoulder blades down the back. Take a breath. Bring the arms out in front of you, palms facing one another. And shoulders are nice and relaxed, now up towards your ears. And you're going to bring the shoulder blades together and then bring the shoulder blades apart. So it's like a rhomboid push-up without being on the hands and knees. So bringing the shoulder blades together and just hold there for a second. Squeeze. Don't squeeze too much. Don't squeeze in other areas of your body. Just the shoulder blades, feel all that energy going into the shoulder blades, all the muscles around the shoulder blades, keeping your shoulder blades back. And now open the shoulder blades wide. Keep them held wide. And now keep going back and forth and really trying to isolate the movement in the shoulder blades and not the arms. Because if I was doing it with the arms, my arms would probably, like I would be looking like this, but I'm really just, my only reason why my arms are moving is because my shoulder blades are doing the work. So squeezing and releasing, pulling or pushing forward, reaching forward, and then reach back, shoulder blades back, shoulder blades apart and back. And relax and let the arms just fall by your sides. Notice how your shoulders feel just from that little bit of movement. Close your eyes. Take a breath. Perhaps you can move in a bit of an internal and external rotation in the hips while you're here. Closing the legs a little together. And a little more. And now we'll just do a little bit in the ankles. So just moving the ankles in circles. Bit of squeaky noise on the floor here. Stick with your breath. Just move the ankles any way at all. Getting a little bit of movement. And in the toes, I'm just going to reach the toes forward, so the heel is coming, sliding back and reaching the toe forward. Even play with the toes here, where you can just move the toes. Maybe you can bring the big toe forward and then back, separate from the other toes. Now point the heels and bring the toes towards your face. And see and fool around with your toes. Have fun with your toes here. And we will come off this bolster now, or your pillow, whatever it is you're on. Put it to the side. And then with the legs, we'll start with the legs wide. We're just going to come into a 1990 position with the legs. So we're just bending at the knees here, and I'm going to relax back into my arms without the shoulders coming up. And so I'm just bringing one leg behind me, and there's a 90-degree angle in this leg. and then another one. And it doesn't have to be exactly 90 for you. We just don't want the heels too close to the body. So have them out about a 90-degree angle, relax back into your arms. If your legs don't come to the floor, no worries. If they're up like this, no problem. If you want, you can put even something underneath your legs to bring the floor up to your legs, or just hang out here. Don't just hang though and let them, just keep them supported a bit. So, and we're just going to begin by opening the back leg and letting it close. So I'm keeping my heels on my heel on the floor, and I'm just opening that back leg and closing it. And we could do it where we're opening the leg and the whole pelvis like moves. We're kind of just opening the leg, keeping the pelvis relatively steady. Just continue with the movement. And now we're going to open it all the way, keeping the heel on the floor until you get that feeling like one leg is dragging the other over. And you're probably going to move around on your mat a little bit, and that's fine. And now we're on the other side, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to open and close that leg a few times. So just staying on the heel of that foot. Really just thinking about the movement of the leg bone in the hip. So if I wanted my pelvis to come along, I would get so far, I would probably like move and bring the other leg with me, right? But just keeping the pelvis pretty neutral, opening and closing that leg. And now opening it all the way until you get this nice feeling of it, the other leg coming over, being drawn over. So just going back and forth, enjoying that movement back and forth. Make sure you're nice and relaxed everywhere else. I love this movement. I find it feels so, so good. It's a nice, relaxing class this evening. It's a rainy evening here. And now when you get over, I'm coming over to the left, we're just going to bring in a little twist again. So I'm just bringing my body up. So I'm kind of facing this, my left leg. And again, I'm just going, your arm can be down as well. You can be supporting yourself. And we're just going to go into this nice little twist, twisting through the thoracic spine. So I'm twisting towards the left. Take a breath. You could reach the arm out if that feels good, and reach. And come back. And we'll come back and forth the movement again. So a couple more times. And so now when you come over and to the right side, we'll go into a little twist. So just a little twist here. And you can reach out that arm and protract that shoulder blade. Untwist. And come back. Just opening the legs wide again. This time we're going to clasp our hands in front of us here. So I'm just clasping the fingers. And we're going to do that shoulder. So if you need to sit on something here, go ahead and sit on something again, by the way. And if your legs are not comfortable wide, you can just cross them as well. So I'm just clasping the hands together. And again, we're going to do that protraction and retraction of the shoulder blades, okay, with the hands clasped together. So your shoulder blades are apart and they come in, apart, and come in. So just back and forward. So the arms are just coming straight forward, but it may feel a little different than when the arms were apart. So just isolating different muscles here. So stay with me. So very slow. and release that and give the shoulders a little shake. So now we're going to come down onto our backs, and you can, for now, I think try without the pillow first and just see how you feel. And if you feel you do need something under your head, get something not too high, just a smaller pillow rather than having something too high for this part. So coming down onto your back. Take a moment to breathe, to get comfy here. Check in with your chin now. So as long as your chin is not poking way up towards the ceiling, you're probably okay. But if it is, put something under your head. And I know I could oftentimes use something under my head, but we're just going into a little bridge. So for these, if you don't need anything under your head, don't put anything there. So bringing our feet to about hip width distance apart and a comfortable distance from your glutes. Making sure your ribs are touching. There's a little arch in your lower back. And we're just going to begin by tilting the pelvis one way and then the other. So I'm just moving, tucking the pelvis and tilting the pelvis. So bringing the back of this lower spine to the floor and tucking the pelvis under, and then going in the opposite. So, and then creating this hollow in your lower back. So tilting your pelvis forward and then tilting your pelvis back. So be gentle with yourself here, because sometimes I know with me, I can't go too far because I'll eventually get a bit of back pain, but that's just in my situation. So I'm just being very gentle with myself. I'm not going as far as I can because I know my boundaries. I know when it starts to feel uncomfortable. So I just don't go that far. So now as you're tilting, so as you're tucking the pelvis under, so the lower back comes to the floor, just imagine now that you're just going to move up the spine kind of one vertebrae at a time, but you're not coming up very far. So I'm hardly lifting the bum off the floor right now. It's just barely, I can still feel it touching. And I'm just gonna kind of move the spine back down. And then tilt the pelvis. So there's a big arch in your lower back, and just moving up to about the mid spine, and then moving back down the spine as your pelvis is tucking under the other way. And then just come back to neutral. And we're going to come into a bridge now. So find the crease in your pants and your hips. And I really want you to think about this movement as a hip extension, okay? You're going to extend the hips, and when you're coming up, really thinking about opening that crease of your pants, so flattening that out. So think about that. Also, take a thumb and finger and put one on the ribs and one on your pubic or your pelvis, your ACI, your hip bones. And we're going to raise the bottom up into a little bridge. But you may want to have this feeling like you're dragging the feet towards the bum to contract those muscles in the backs of the legs. And you're going to try to lift your body up so that the ribs and the hip bones stay in the same plane. And you're really thinking about opening up the creases of your hips here. And when you get to wherever you get, you don't have to get as high as what you can possibly go. You're just going to hold there. And as I come down, I'm going to try to keep that connection between the ribs and the pelvis, and I'm going to lower myself down. Nice and slow. So when I lower myself down, my pelvis is already neutral. I have that tilt. So it's like the torso is staying in one line, and you're pulling the heels towards your bum, and raising yourself up, really thinking about increasing the creases here in your pants, not increasing the creases, opening up the creases in your hips. Oh, trouble with my words tonight. So if you want, you can really get that feeling of pulling the legs in. So it's not so much a pushing down into the earth as it is just pulling the heels towards the bum. And then again, keeping that torso in a neutral, coming down. And relax. If you want to come up and do one more, you can go ahead and do that. But for me, I'm just going to just rest here because my back don't always love those movements, so I gotta be very cautious. But some people love that little bridge, so if you want to go ahead, otherwise just come back for a breath. And then open the legs kind of wide, so your feet kind of at the edge of your mat, each foot. And we're just going to do kind of like that 1990 work. We're just swaying the legs back and forth. And that same thing, I'm gonna let my right leg here open up first, and then let it drag the other leg with it. If you want, you can bring the arms overhead. And when you come to one side, you can kind of bring the arms over to in that same direction as your knees, and then go the other way. And there's really no wrong way to do this. Just let it feel really good to you. So you're just swinging from side to side. You can bring both legs at the same time, or you can do the whole letting the top leg open up and drag the other leg with it. So getting nice movement here throughout the spine, back and forth. And you can come and let the legs, either the knees fall in towards each other with the arms out to your sides. Stay here, take some breaths, close your eyes. Notice how you're feeling in the hips. And now bring the feet pelvis width distance apart again, and reach the right leg out, and the left leg is still bent. And then you're going to reach the right arm up, and the other arm can be out by your side. And you're going to go do this little twist where your little knee comes over. You're going to lift the knee off the floor, and then you're going to roll it over to the side. You can come to where it's comfortable for you. If you want, you can put the foot down, and you can let this arm, the back arm, come as well. And you can reach that arm in front, and then let the fingers come behind you onto the floor. And come back, bring the leg back. Put that leg down, bring the other leg up, reach the left leg out. The right arm is now extended out by your side, but the left arm is up behind your head. Take a second there. Now you're going to raise that knee and let yourself just move over towards one side. So doing a little twist, and then you can reach that top arm if you want, and reach it forward and reach. And then letting the fingers glide along the floor. And when you pick the foot off, so when you're coming back over, you really want to be coming over with the pelvis in control and not just having the leg pull you over. So you can bring that leg down and extend both legs. I got the arms extended over my head. And now again, I'm going to keep the right arm overhead. I'm flexing the left knee, so bring the left knee up and extending the left arm out to the side. And now I'm picking up the pelvis on my left. So I'm really picking it up. So I'm not letting the weight of my leg bring me over. I'm picking up the side of my pelvis and I can feel it in my abs and I'm coming over and I can take the arm with and come along. Or maybe not, or sorry, I'm doing it wrong. This arm, where am I? No, I don't know. I'm gonna bring it the other arm. So I'm just reaching and then coming back. And I'm letting my pelvis, now the strength around my hips and everything, to bring me down slowly. And put that foot down, extend the leg. I think I'm just gonna leave the arms to whatever feels good for you. Bring the right knee up. And again, we're just gonna bring it over to the side. And this time we're not gonna bring it over as far. I've got my arms now down by my sides, my palms facing on the floor. So I'm just coming and lowering myself down now, very slow. So lifting the pelvis up, right side of my pelvis, I'm lifting up. I'm doing a little bit of a twist, but I'm really, core is doing a lot of work here in my pelvis. So I'm lifting from the pelvis, coming up, rocking a bit over to the side. I'm not coming over very far, small movements, just coming off the floor, coming back to neutral, lifting the pelvis up, holding, and then bringing the pelvis back down. Extend that leg, bring up the left leg. So again, we're lifting the pelvis up to bring, like you're doing a twist in your lower part of your body, and come back down. Nice and slow. So I got my foot extended on my bottom leg, so my heel is extended. So lifting up, we're not coming all the way, just a little bit, and then bring the pelvis back down. And before it really touches, I don't want you to like relax, like bring the leg back to the floor and then completely relax. So there's stays a bit of contraction in the belly when you're doing this. Not a contraction that you're forcing, but you're probably noticing that your belly muscles are turning on. And last one. So you can bring your legs out straight, or you can come with them bent. Ribs on the floor, chin nicely tucked. Come back to your breath. Notice how that's feeling around the lower back and the abs, the lower abs. And if you want, you can bring the legs into like a butterfly and grab the ankles, or you can grab the knees. I'm going to grab the knees. If you grab the ankles, I mean, just notice that you're not getting really a lot of benefit in your hips for that if your lower back flattens to the floor. So I like taking my knees and just moving back and forth, just like the wings of a butterfly, opening and closing the legs. And really just now moving in any kind of motion that you want. So I'm going to do little circles where my feet are kind of together. Well, my feet are staying together and I'm moving the feet down towards the floor, opening up the wings and then coming together. So I'm just kind of making circles. But any movement that you feel here, you're just getting a lot of nice movement in the hips here. So I'm going in the other direction. So I'm kind of like pulling the knees towards my body and the knees are together. And then I'm opening the knees apart. The feet are still touching. And then moving the legs down towards the floor, closing the wings. And then bringing the legs up towards me again. The legs are closed, keeping the feet together. Open the legs. And then move the legs down. Still a lot of core work. Bring the legs together. Come up. Open the legs. Bring the legs down towards the floor and close. Now, if you're doing that and your whole bottom, your whole back is lifting off the floor, just make the circles a lot smaller. You don't have to come all the way to the floor. And we can do the other way as well. So the knees are together. You bring them down towards the floor, open. Together, down towards the floor, open. Bring them up towards you with the legs open, close. Bring the toes towards the floor, the feet open again. Oh, raise. And you know, I'm even noticing them coming a little bit off the floor here. So I'm going to stop, take a breath. Come back to neutral. If you want, you can bring the hands to the knees and let the arms extend out nice and long and just do a few circles on the lower back. I'm checking my notes, sorry. As always, I don't remember anything. Stay here a second, I'm gonna check the time. It goes by fast. Let's take your pillow now, and I don't want you to use a big bolster. Sometimes we use a big bolster for this. But just get a nice medium-sized pillow. We're going to put that underneath our pelvis now and come back laying down. If you're still laying down, just grab it and bring it underneath you. So coming down. And just again, some more nice relaxing hip movement before we get into Shavasana. And since you will, the rest of the class has this underneath us, this pillow, if you want, at the very end in Shavasana, if there is a wall close by, you can take Shavasana. I really recommend with legs up the wall for the very end. I'm not going to do that just because you probably won't hear me as well, but that is a beautiful option for the end of this. So now with something underneath our pelvis, again, we're just going to lift the legs up into the air. That's really about it. Just enjoy this. Feet up in the air. You can wiggle your ankles around, do some circles. And hopefully having something here, if you're finding it hard to have your legs up in the air, just roll your pillow or get an extra pillow or blanket or something to raise you higher. So I'm just going to do some ankle rolls, close my eyes. You can open the legs out to the sides. Don't go too far. It can be really painful on the sides if you're just letting them come open and hang. So just I'm going to do some nice scissors now with my legs. So as long as it feels good, anything goes here. You can do that butterfly again. This time perhaps because your hips are raised, you can probably come to your feet or your ankles. Have some fun there. I'm going to bring the right leg now up towards my chest, just holding on with my hands. And I'm just going to let the other leg reach out and really extend through the heel of that leg. And then let the other leg relax. If you want to move that leg around, you can in the hip here. Maybe do little circles and notice how it feels. Trying to keep your pelvis relatively still. Go around the other way. Bring that leg down, out, reach that one, bring the other one in towards your chest. Extend out through the heel of your right, relax the left. So just staying here, starting to slow down and relax. Let the leg be really relaxed in the hip. You can do little circles. Again, keeping the pelvis relatively still. And if you're doing circles, go the other way. Notice if you notice that both legs may feel a little different from one another. And just noticing that. Just curious. And now reaching both legs out. I'm going to interlace my hands, turn my hands inside out and reach the arms behind me. Remember, you want the ribs to stay connected to the ground. Don't worry if your arms don't come all the way back. Bring the arms slowly back. And then reach the arms again. So we're doing it again, but putting the other pinky. So interlacing the hands with the other pinky on the bottom. Turning the arms, hands inside out and reaching behind you again. Not collapsing. You're creating a bit of resistance. You're not just collapsing in the ligaments. You're just going as far as you can. With the ribs going with you. You may not notice a difference from one side and the other. Inhale and exhale, reach and come up. Reaching the shoulder blades apart and come down. So any last movements, go ahead. Otherwise, you can get yourself ready for Shavasana. Legs up the wall or just staying where you are. And once you're comfy, slow down the body, the mind, and just connecting once again to how we feel now. Just notice your shoulders. So notice how your shoulders are feeling. And perhaps we're still holding on to a bit of contraction in the muscles. So let the shoulders relax. You can have the arms outstretched, the palms face up towards the ceiling. Letting the jaw go, creating a little space between the teeth. Notice how you feel around the hips. Notice any energy still that you can feel happening around the hips and the abdomen. And let those areas soften and relax as much as you can. And revisit the shoulders and the chest, the jaw. It's so important for your body to have some recognition of this place of stillness and relaxed heart rate. This calmness and peace in the body. It's like a place of beginning. So the opposite of having our muscles all contracted, which is good in some instances to have our muscles contract, but not very often that we make a conscious effort to relax the whole body without falling asleep. So really enjoying this sensation of a relaxed body. And letting go of any tension around the skull, around the temples or the place between the eyebrows, and the jaw, the throat, the neck, and space between the shoulders. It's a lovely area that we've been working all week. Letting the shoulder blades be heavy, and the arms, fingers and hands, all nice and soft. Perhaps noticing your heart beat in your chest. Also so you can hear it beating. Imagine your whole spine relaxing. All the muscles around your spine, your abdomen, completely letting go. Give yourself time. Giving yourself the attention and the intention to relax. Your pelvis, heavy, all the muscles around your hips. Moving down to your legs, around your knees. Imagining the knees soft. Moving down the calves, front of the legs, ankles, the feet and the toes. Just being an observer of your thoughts. Knowing that what's most important here is that you let your body let go. I'm going to leave you here now. And stay as long as you feel it's right for your body.